So what we've got here is a couple of P90 Junior double cuts. At last, an opportunity to do another one of those Eastman versus Gibson comparisons. Look, it's a copy, isn't it? I mean, there's no getting around it. It's a blatant copy. Well, a lot of people say they're better, don't they? They do. A lot of people. It's a lot of people, and they say Eastmans are better than Gibsons. That's what they say. So, should we find out if it's true? Guitaristas is proudly supported by Gear for Music. Hello, thanks for joining us. Welcome to the Guitaristas. So what we've got here is a couple of P90 Junior double cuts. Firstly, this one. It's the official recent reissue of the Gibson Les Paul Junior DC. In glorious TV yellow with that nitro smell. What a lovely guitar. We reviewed this last week. That's what we got it for. To review and to give away as first prize in our Christmas raffle, which is now up and running live. Links in the description box if you want to find out a little bit more about how you can win this Gibbons. While we've got it though, before we send it away to a new owner, I thought, at last, an opportunity to do another one of those Eastman versus Gibson comparisons, because this is my Eastman SB55 DC V for antique varnish, which I've had for a couple of years, and if you watch the channel you'll know that this is one of my favourite guitars of all time. I've rolled it out, drug it out, dragged, get on with it, Cole. I've played it on the channel a few times and it sounds lovely. What I thought we'd do today is a deep dive comparison between these two and find out what the differences are and find out if we can hear any differences. Because although they look, you know, at first glance, they look identical, don't they? Or different colour, obviously, but, you know, the shape and, you know, everything. Look, it's a copy, isn't it? I mean, there's no getting around it. It's a blatant copy of the Gibson. I'm not sure how they get away with it, but it is, and it's a bloody good one. So I thought what we'd do is find out. Well, a lot of people say they're better, don't they? They do. A lot of people. Yeah, it's a lot of people, and they say Eastmans are better than Gibsons. Or what people often say is that an Eastman, which is broadly the same price as the Gibson equivalent, is on par with the Gibson custom shop version up there. That's what they say. So should we find out if it's true? Yeah, let's do that. We'll do a deep dive review. And then what I'm going to also do today is I'm going to get into a little bit more info about these wrap tail bridges. Tailpieces, sorry, tail bridge is a word that I made up. Tailpiece, wrap around tailpiece. There are several different types, and there's a lot of misinformation out there about these things, about, you know, intonation, how you can't intonate them, and so on and so forth. So what I thought we'd do is, well, I thought what I'm going to do is mansplain it all, really, because I can really. So strap yourselves in. Timestamps are in the description box if you're in a little bit of a hurry. If you've got a little bit of time on your hands, or if you've got nothing better to do, go and put the kettle on, make yourself a nice cup of tea, get some snacks, some nibbles, and come back, and let's get on with it. Yeah, let's do it. Right, let's get into it. Side-by-side comparison. I'm going to be throwing the guitars around a little bit, and hopefully I'm not going to damage anything in that process. But let's look at them. They are both, well, I'm going to say mahogany set neck guitars. Slab of mahogany, mahogany set neck. The difference, of course, is the type of mahogany and whether or not the Eastman is actually made out of mahogany. It's actually made out of akume, which is known as African mahogany, and it's a very well regarded, respected tone wood. But a lot of people will tell you it's not actually real mahogany. I don't know. I'm not a timber expert. But this is made out of akume. This is made out of mahogany. And they're both set necks. Now let's have a look at the back, because I can straight away see that the joinage on the neck is a little bit different. I was going to say quite different. It's not quite different. It's a little bit different. There's a larger heel on the Eastman there. The shape seems to be pretty much identical. And I know people are going to say, is the Eastman smaller? And I think that's an illusion because of the colour. But fuck it, let's get a tape measure. Here we go. Right, the Gibson is a smidge under 33. What's that? 32.8 centimetres. Oh, and actually the Eastman comes out at almost bang on 33. So actually the Gibson's a tiny little bit smaller. And across here, this is not very scientific, obviously. Just over 23. Yeah, about the same. They're pretty much the same. What I did notice though is over on this side where the fretboard joins the body, the Eastman joins it exactly there, whereas the Gibson obviously has got a little bit of room. But they're both listed as 24 3/4 inch scale length, so same scale length. So that would just mean that the bridge is fixed in a slightly different position. Okay, I mean the layout's the same, isn't it? I'm just looking on the screen over there. So there's nothing sort of leaps out as being different apart from the pickguard scratch plate. I never know what to say. Scratch plate. This is a scratch plate on this, isn't it? Pickguards on Les Pauls, scratch plate flat. So that's slightly different shape, isn't it? Nice taut one on the Eastman, standard black on the Gibson. You can get limited edition ones from the Gibson website with the taut guard on that, or you could. I don't know if they're still doing those. Right, that's that. Let's have a look up at the business end. Gibson headstock. Tuners on that are the Gibson Deluxe blocky Cluson style ones. We went through this last week. White buttons, nuts holding them on. Eastman. These have nice Faber aged nickel tuners with metal buttons, pressing bushings, all aged, all. It's nice. It looks nicer, doesn't it? Let's see what they weigh. First, the Gibson. £6 3 ounces, which is 2.83 kilos. And the Eastman, £5 13 ounces, which is 2.64 kilos. Eastman for the win. Right, so strings off. Let's have a look at the neck profiles and measurements side by side on the screen now. Okay, here are the neck profiles and measurements at the 1st fret. And here are the neck profiles and measurements at the 12th fret. So as you can see there, the Gibson's flatter than the Eastman. The Eastman's not a what I would call a massive neck. It's not a chunky neck. It's probably what I would call medium, but it feels a little bit fuller in the hand, shall we say. Looking at the fingerboards and frets, the Gibson first has got a rosewood fingerboard and 22 medium jumbo frets. The Eastman's got an ebony fingerboard and 22 Jescar frets. They're chunkier than the Gibsons as well, as you can see that. Eastman's got a bone nut, Gibson's got a Guitaraddict nut. Let's have a closer look under the hoods of these. So last week, obviously we did all of this last week with the Gibson, but I'm going to do it all again because the last time I did one of these and I sort of thought, oh, I'll skip that bit. It's not important. You know, there's always someone that goes, oh, you didn't do that. And they say exactly like that as well. Oh, you didn't do that. You didn't look under the pickup. I fucking did it last week, didn't I? Go back and have a look. It's not worth it. You know, I might as well just do it again. Do you remember? Big old, you can see the tenon there, can't you? I can't remember. I mean, I've done all this to the Eastman as well, but it was a long time ago, so we'll do it all again anyway. All the screws are longer, I know, tell you that much. Get double the screw length with the Eastman. Here you go, look. Right. Yeah, same but different. In fact, it's got a chunkier. I don't know if you can see that very clearly. There you go. It's kind of full width, and it comes in a little bit longer than the Gibson. There you go. Right, before we have a look underneath the pickups, let's take the readings. Okay, Gibson here is a standard Gibson P90 and it's 7.61K, 5.77 Henrys. The Eastman is a Lola 50s P90, Lola. And that's 7.65K. There you go. And the inductance of 5.24 Henrys. And as you can see as well, the Eastman is aged a little bit. That's how it came. All the stuff on the Eastman's aged, the hardware, obviously the body with this antique varnish finish, versus the Gibson, which just comes with a nitro finish and you have to age it yourself. So we'll have a quick peek under the pickups, under the Gibson, as we saw last week. And, oh, can I flip that? Just about. There you go, just. P90 dog ear, it says on the Gibson. And there you go, that's what it looks like inside. Again, same as last week, funnily enough. And Eastman, these are made specially for Eastman by Lola. You don't know if you can see that on the camera. Let's just zoom it a bit. It actually is imprinted. Imprinted. Yeah, well, that'll do. It says Eastman Lola pickups 2022 bridge, and it's got LW, it's low wind, that means. And don't know if you can just see, but with the Eastman, it's got a little bit of a recess made into the body so that it fits flush there. Whereas the Gibson doesn't have that. And inside the control cavities, the Gibson's still got 500k pots and an orange drop capacitor, and I believe a switchcraft jack. The Eastman has got CTS 500k pots, a Sprague orange drop capacitor, and switchcraft output jack. And the tone control on the Eastman is what they call a no load control pot. What that means is that when it's in the fully on 10, when it's not rolled off at all, it's actually, it feels like magnetic. It's like a switch. So when it's on 10, it's out of the system. It kind of bypasses it, and then as you roll it off, it then comes into play. I think I've explained that properly. There you go. But they look pretty much the same. Oh, wiring. Oh, okay, yeah. The wiring, the Eastman is center lug on the tone to outside lug on the volume. The Gibson is, I can't say that, hang on. Center lug on the tone to the back. Yeah. Right, now I just wanted to talk a little bit about these wrap tail bridges, because there's a lot of misinformation out there, and I thought I might be able to clear some of that up. There are two basic types, okay, and then variations of those, okay, but there are two basic types. The original one, which is the smooth one, okay, there's no saddles or anything on there, there's no obvious adjustment on there apart from these grub screws. Now if you look at the, now I've got a different guitar here, you'll have noticed I've got an SG Junior on there. I'll explain why in 1 second, but if you look at this Les Paul Junior with the original type, this one, which was introduced in around about 1953, okay, it was one of the very first ones introduced onto the Les Paul to replace the very first, I don't know, whatever they were called, trapezoid or whatever, but this was very early, introduced in 1953 and used on the 1958, 1960 and 61 Les Paul Junior DC. It's offset. Can you see that? It's smooth and it's offset. I've just put that masking tape on there to illustrate. It's offset. It's at a jaunty angle, okay? And that is designed at a jaunty angle because they calculated that that was the best way to get the guitar to intonate. And the adjustment on that then is kind of backwards via these grub screws to just get it as accurate as you can. And it can be accurate, but only if these posts are in the right place. And quite often on the very early Gibsons, because they were all handmade, there was some variation. So obviously if those aren't drilled in the right place, you've got no chance. So they improved it. In 1963, they introduced this style, the lightning bar. Yeah, here's one I prepared earlier. You can see the difference. It's actually got built up saddles on it to assist with that intonation. And what you will also notice, it's not offset. I don't know if you can see that masking tape on a white guitar, but it's not offset. You can see that. It lines up directly with the pickup, whereas that one doesn't. It's offset. So the lightning bar was designed to just be a better version of that, so that these saddles were kind of in the right place to assist with that intonation. And it's still got the grub screws, so you can still adjust it, you know, backwards and forwards to get it perfect. But they're not interchangeable. Lightning bar bridges, which are straight, and smooth, I don't know what that, would you just call that, the original version, they're not interchangeable. You can't just whack a lightning bar bridge on and think it's going to fix it, because it'll probably be even worse, because those saddles are not in the right place for an offset. With the original offset, the biggest problem, I think, was because it does intonate. It can intonate. I'll show you this. My 62 Les Paul Junior, an original 1962, and it's got, as you can see, it's got that offset bridge. And what I've had to do, well, that was already done when I got it, to get this to intonate, was to crank that all the way back. Can you see that? I'll do a close-up of that so you can see. So the grub screw's all the way in, it's pulled it all the way back. So everyone says, oh, get a Music City bridge. So yeah, Music City is a modern fix for that, and for any early juniors that don't necessarily, you know, that aren't accurate enough to intonate. And I'll put a picture on the screen there. It's just designed so it's got a little bit of a extra shoulder, if you like. So you don't have to do that. You can, you know, you've got a little bit more, you know, adjustment on that. Okay, let's get rid of this. So if you've got one of those types and you can't get it to intonate properly, the fix is a Music City stud finder bridge, or there are these fully adjustable types, which they call, I think the generic name, or the generic name I give them is a badass bridge. If you look at Keith Richards playing his DC, he's got one of them on it. Because it's got all of this adjustment. So that's one of the other variations to fix intonation issues on that. Music City stud finder or a badass style. Now, lightning bar, this would have a lightning bar, but it's got a variation of the lightning bar, which is this. This is a Faber bridge, and you can see, again, it's Faber's version of that really, and I guess it's an improvement. The saddles look to be in pretty much the same place. That goes on like that. Intonates fine. Got those in the right place. So, and again, it's got the grub screws there. There you go. I think that explains it. And finally, truss rods, Gibson bell end style. See that? And on the Eastman, Gibson bell end style. There you go. And the other thing I wanted to mention is the Eastman, the truss rod cover, it's just got one screw, but it's actually a piece of ebony. It's a nice touch. That's the Gibson one. Okay, let's put new strings on them, plug them in, see what they sound like. See you in a minute. Right, here we go. So this guitar, and the Eastman as well, they've been reviewed before. So the full, well, the actual demo of how this sounds is last week. What we're interested in today is the differences, if there is any differences. So I'm just going to play them both on sort of the same settings and see what happens really. See where it ends up, because this is quite difficult. Trying to compare two guitars and play stuff on two guitars is my worst nightmare. So let's just sort of play, see what happens. Some stuff on the board. As always, I'll show you if I use them via Crocs cam down there. So yeah, let's just do it. Fully cranked. B90. That was the Stones, this is the Dolls. Got a bit noisy that. Is anyone still not convinced that single P90 guitars are the bollocks? I rest my case. They sound fucking amazing, don't they? Both of these guitars sound, to my ears, brilliant. They both sound great. There is a difference, isn't there? You can hear the difference, can't you? Certainly here in the studio and on the playback, I've been obviously listening back, you can hear the difference. So here's what I think, and I'm really, really looking forward to the comments this week to see what you think, because, you know, I think you can split them, but which way you go, I don't know. The Gibson, I think you can hear a little bit more mid-range in the Gibson. The Eastman, it's kind of got a wider range. I always said that this sounded like, I described it as being high fidelity, like a real wide range of frequencies. Really bright, this guitar. It can be really bright, and obviously, you know, it's got a good functionality in the tone knob department, but it's a really bright. And I expected it to, yeah, I did. I'm going to say it because this is what I think. I expected it to sound a lot better than the Gibson for some reason. Well, I'll tell you why, because I've always said the Eastman, on paper, you know, the parts, you know, if a guitar is a sum of its parts, the Eastman's got really high quality parts on it, you know, the hardware and the pickup and, you know, everything about it, ebony boards, you know, and stuff like that. You think, well, on paper, it's going to shine, isn't it? So I kind of thought we might hear more of a, well, no, I can't even say more of a difference, can I? Because you can hear a difference, but more of a betterness. But that's not the case, is it? It's not the case at all. The Gibson, I'm surprised at how good the Gibson sounds. It just sounds a bit different. And I'm really pleased, actually. I'm really pleased because it kind of confirms what I've been saying all year. I mean, I've had a lot of Gibsons this year, you know, not to everyone's liking, but I have. I've had a lot of Gibsons. I like Gibsons. And I can honestly say that they've all been good. And they've all sounded good and great even. This one's definitely no exception. And I'm a little bit disappointed that I'm not going to be able to hang on to this one for a little bit longer. You know, another plug. This is the prize in our Christmas raffle, which is now live. Links in the description box. Drawn on Sunday, the 28th of December. So if you fancy getting a ticket, this could be yours. But I'm 100% going to get another one of these for myself. Probably in the new year while they're available, because I think the price is all right as well. I mean, this is retailing $1,499. It's the same as they were trying to get for the single cut juniors 5 years ago. So the prices of Gibsons, I was just thinking about this, the prices of Gibsons doesn't seem to have gone up. Everything else seems to have gone up. Eastmans have gone up, but Gibsons don't seem to in this kind of standard range. I suppose the market has spoken. That's what people are prepared to pay for a Les Paul Junior, I suppose. And you know, the standards. I mean, well, I made a film this year, didn't I? They were selling them off cheap because there's too many out there. So I suppose they suffer from that. I'm rabbiting now, and I've gone off the point. I always do it. I think I've said all that I can say, and I think it's now your turn to speak. What do you think of these two guitars? Which one do you prefer, Eastman or Gibson? Let us know in the comments. It's going to be interesting reading this one, isn't it? Okay, that's it, I think. Yeah, that's it. That's all for this week. Just like to say thanks to Gear for Music for supporting this channel, for supporting this community, and all the members over on the guitaristas.tv channel for their support. It's massively appreciated. And of course, you, if you're still watching now, thank you. It's appreciated. Come back next week and see what we're up to then. I shall look forward to it. Ta-da for now.